to Talking Tunes.
There was a boy in Arkansas who wouldn't listen to his mom when she told him that he should go to school. He'd sneak away in the afternoon, take a little walk.
Here's an amazing story of Ben and wife of over 60 years, Pat Scholl, and how they started with a few acres and then turned it into 400 acres or more and farmed and horse farmed, plow contest, and auctioned just about everything you could think of. Ben Scholl moved to Montague in 7th or 8th grade and became, as he says,
horse farmer.
Well, an auctioneer.
Oh, well, we had tractors later.
He had horses when he was. See, I didn't meet him till he came out of the Navy, which was like 19. Got married in 47, no, 46, but in 1945. But before that, he had a stable on.
Scenic Drive.
Yeah, because this is what he took the. He lived in Montague, but the stable was in Whitehall. So they took the horses on a ferry across the lake rather than ride them all the way around in the spring. Okay. And in the fall they did the same thing. And that's the thing that they took them on.
A boat.
So that was when he was 14 or 15 that he had the riding stable in Whitehall on the corner of
Scenic Drive.
and he went into service in the Navy. And when he came out, I had come up for the summer to work at the it was a Jack and Jill Ranch then. Mm-hmm. And he had just gotten out of the Navy, and he had a horse. I don't know what it was. He always said, is it me or my horse that you like?
You was a waitress, wasn't you?
Yeah, I was a waitress, and you had your horses there. But that was at the ranch, yeah. And then the next, that was summer. I suppose the next spring we got married, or did we wait another year?
Oh, another year, I think it was.
Anyway, one of the things, so I was home in west of Chicago, and so we would talk, obviously, quite often. And one time he called me, where is that bear thing? It would have been in the fall of '46, I wrote that down. And I thought it was kind of funny because it's the difference between yesteryear and today. But his uncle brought him home a bear from hunting. Don't ask me any details. So he put it in now you can correct me, honey, because it's your story. He put it in there, was it the fruit cellar outside?
No, it was a water tank. Well, it pumped the water from the house into that tank, and then from that tank it went to the barn. It was a water tank.
Yeah, but it had a little room down there.
Oh yeah, it was. It was a building.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's where the bear was, and one day the bear got loose. Now this is right in Whitehall, across from the cemetery.
Okay.
Not very far from the school, and it was about time for the kids to get out of school, and so this wasn't funny. I can just hear your mother. And so he called his friend Leonard Hunt, and he called Bill Tiemann, and
Lariat, and two Lariats lasted him, pulled him down.
Take your hands away from your mouth so they can hear you.
I led him home.
So they got him out of the tree, and they finally got him home. But they were so worried because if the kids got out of school, they'd be coming through, and that's all.
Yeah.
Now, see, today that could never happen. You wouldn't have a bear in the first place.
No.
So when I came into the picture, then I don't know. I think his mother went out because they got rid of the bear.
How big of an area was the bear stored in? Just a little.
Oh, just a little thing the size of a bathroom or something.
Oh man.
I mean, he could come. I don't know.
Well, had a collar on,
Oh, okay.
a rope, and he had a pen that he went into a building or little building with a roof on it.
It wasn't much fun. I don't know what the uncle was thinking of. To tell the
No.
truth. But
It was always a. You had to watch him.
the bear or your uncle?
Both.
Yeah, probably both, because that was a drinking uncle, wasn't it?
Yeah. We sold the bear. bear hunter up north.
Anyway, we got married, and see, he owned this house in Whitehall across, it's not there anymore, right across from the cemetery. So he owned 22 acres there, and he always, it's one of his comments, so he should have kept it and blah, blah, blah. You know, that goes on all the time if you had foresight like you had.
It's a man thing.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, that's where he lived, and then we bought the farm. Let's see,
Across the road.
48 in April. We moved straight across the road, and we lived there 32 years. We moved there. We ended up with like, what do we have? About 400 acres. Something like that.
350.
But anyway, then we bought the red brick farmhouse that you passed as you came in, and we lived there 12 years. I think.
Well, that's 40 acres.
See,
The
we
first
sold
40
this
bought.
place with
And-
40
and-
acres.
And this 40 went with it. And we kept this 40.
Yeah, yeah, and so now we're down to like 200 acres or 170 or something. But then we built the house next door, because we remodeled those other two. We built that house, and we lived there 12 years.
That's where
We still lived there, and then we built this little place. But we had in mind, I guess we had, that we might someday need help. So we have we built it with the wide doorways and the toilets that are raised.
That's
And
nice.
things like that, and a handicap shower. And I'm glad we did. So that kind of, and then during all this time, to back up, when we got married, he decided to go to auction school in Indiana. And that's when he started auctioneering, and that was a great part of our life, that and farming. Because we had asparagus pickers for many years. We had farm sales and household auctions and antique auctions.
Yeah.
Only real farming areas from here and up north.
Okay.
So the reason I'm saying that is we had as many or more household auctions and antique auctions as we did farm auctions, because he loved the farm auctions.
Well, that was right after the war, and the big got big and the small sold out to the little guys, the big guys. And we just had all kinds of auction. I had 3 auction sales a week.
Of course, it was only in the summer, there's only so many weekends in the summer, so
I sold Ravenna livestock sale for 30 years,
every Monday night.
every Monday night.
Well, we're actually true farmers. That's what he loves the most, that and the auctioneering. Of course, it's all morning he was calling square dances.
Oh, really? You did the square dance calling too?
Yeah.
Did
Yeah, that
anything
was-
that called for talking and
Okay.
stuff.
If say you had something there, a John Deere tractor to auction off, how would you go about doing it? How would you start?
I would say, hey, we got this nice John Deere 45 tractor. It's got 465 hours on it. In super shape. It's a 45 horsepower, three bottom plow, 2 in the heavy ground and 3 in the lighter ground. Oh, the auctioneer goes. Oh, now we'll sell that John Deere tractor. We started at $800, $8.5, 75, $875 now, 400, $875 now, $875 now, 900,
Yeah, done this
9 and a
so
quarter,
long.
9.5, 75, 975, 975, 975 now, $1,000. Hey, even money, $1,000. And that's the way it goes.
Okay, all right, that's what I was looking for.
One that happened to be a tractor, he sold 4 different times.
No, that was a Ford 8M tractor, and I had sold it at a farm sale. The guy that bought it, and I got $2,000 for it. That was in the spring of the year, and he come up to me. He said, "Mr. Scholl," he said, That's $100. That's $1,000 more than I paid for it. That's tractor sold for $1,000, brand new, 20 years ago.
Anyway.
And then I sold it 3 times that year, and every time it brought $500 more.
But our record was a player piano, the old kind. And we sold that 4 times. And the last time we sold it, it was out on the porch at a little house in Shelby or something. And we bought it and couldn't get it in the house. And so they had an auction and they put that on. Yeah, he's had horses all his life. Mm-hmm. And when our girls were growing up, I mean, our son wasn't quite the horsey one, but the 2 girls and Benny were all horses, and shows and stuff. Well, when they got through school and left, then he had what he wanted, which was draft horses. And that's when he started having a plow day that we had it 22 or 23 years. I forgot which. And that was, people would, God, I got plow day books all over the place.
Bring their own horses.
They would bring, yeah.
We had highest 55 teams plowing.
And the whole idea of it was to, he wanted the younger generations to see what went on years ago. And that was really the whole purpose of it. We didn't get as many people from Montague because most of them were, but boy, from Grand Rapids. And we had them here from 7 states one time for this plow day weekend. And of course, they made a weekend of it. They could camp here and blah, blah, blah. We had a potluck at noon one day, and we had people lined up from here to that house next door.
We had breakfast. Yeah, we served breakfast, pancakes and bacon and sausage.
Oh, you're thinking of when you had no riding stable.
Oh.
We did have the night we started like on a Saturday night. We had hot dogs and bean soup and stuff right out here in the corral, and then Sunday was the big day. But some of them came Wednesday before the thing, and some of them stayed till Monday, and we just.
With their horses and everything they were
Oh
out
yeah,
there?
oh God, yeah, you know, things are really get quite sophisticated. We had one outfit from Adrian, that area, and they had, what, 6 or 8?
8.
8 horse hitch. And you can imagine how big that trailer was.
Was it who could plow the fastest or the farthest?
Oh no,
or
not
We had
fastest.
judges. It
The
was-
best.
the best?
Yeah.
The horses walk slow and just turn a nice furrow.
And then we had awards, and at a certain time we had a
Competition.
obstacle course. But then at the end, then about 4 o'clock on Sunday, we had the awards, and they'd be like for the best
Others
the
the
best
way.
flour and the best, and we had people come with their wagons just to give people rides, because from this point right here, way down to that, way down there, you know, it's quite a walk, so they could,
Well, we own a whole mile here
yeah, and they would
on both sides
put
of the
their kids,
road.
you know, then they would, and people, we we encouraged people to bring the whole family, because it was the only thing, it was one of the few things that you could come to without paying a penny. Unless we also had Larry Yeager's food wagon, so of course if they wanted their caramel corn and stuff they could. But they could spend the day, you know, and walk from one end of the farm to the other and stuff, and then in the backyard next door we had the big swings and stuff for the kids.
So you didn't charge anything for it then?
Oh no,
Wow.
no. So the plow days, people appreciated that. We had nice write-ups, and it would, of course, once in a while the weather would be bad, because it was always the last weekend in April.
Oh.
And when it was beautiful, it was just fun, you know. But one time it was so miserable. It snowed and rained and about everything that you could have happen, and we just closed down and had after the dinner because you couldn't send the horses out to work, and people weren't coming. But most of the time we had pretty good luck.
Well,
Well, one of our first big auctions was was when Blue Lake, before they bought it, and we had an
Fine
Oriental
Arts.
rug auction from well, it was one of the lawyers in Muskegon contacted us. I don't know where, I forgot just, well, no, it was the Burlingame auction, yeah. Anyway, it was full of Oriental rugs. We had people from New York and everything else here.
Had checks from 9 different states.
You used to work at the Ark. Everybody was wondering about the Ark. How did that all go?
So this was before I came into the picture.
I worked there.
You worked there. You know where Lakeside Inn is? Okay, you go down a little road to the Lakeside Inn. Well, right out, that's where this was.
Well, they could fish out of there, and then they had, in the wintertime, they had shanties. I had 100 and some shanties out on the ice. I worked for him. I'd take them out to the shanty and build a little fire for them and start their fire and give them some wood.
Why didn't it continue? Was it liability or wasn't it making it or?
Oh, I don't know. I was in high school. I worked for a guy, and he wanted to sell out to me, but I didn't want to. I had a riding stable, and
I
just
don't know why it didn't. Maybe we, now it wouldn't go at all. We used to have ice all winter on White Lake. I would ice skate all winter long. And you know now how spotty things are. We used to have winter like in November.
Yeah, but wouldn't it, if the ice melted, it would still float though, right? Or no?
Well,
Oh,
people
the
couldn't
building?
get out there.
Yeah.
oh yeah, they went out there in boats in the summertime, and on.
Oh, did he run it in the summer too?
Oh yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
they rode out there, boats, all tied up along the side. See, that's all.
So how did he make it float? What would he use to make it float? Was it just a,
Float.
yeah? It's
They
like a
had
boat.
two big barrels under it.
Barrels?
Yeah.
I kind of figured that, yeah.
Like a pontoon boat?
Yeah.
Oh, I never knew that. I just thought that was a winter thing.
Pardon?
I just thought that was a winter project.
Oh no, that's out there year round.
Oh.
It was anchored out there.
Yeah, because to me that sounds like a great idea. I don't understand why they don't have something like that now, but.
Was he quite old? Was Sherm an older man?
Oh yeah, he was probably 55, 60 when I was a young boy.
Of course, that's not old now. When you're 85 and 88. And then that was right about where he would take the horse, when he had the riding stable in the summer, would take him on this ferry. Well, right when we got married, we had a riding stable. You know where the White Lake Golf Course is? That's where we had a riding stable. And the guy that ran the White Lake Golf Course would come over almost every other night. If your horses get on our greens, if they get out.
God damn no.
Oh, Lordy. And then that was right after we were married, yeah. Because then the next year we moved here, and then we just ran our riding academy from right there. We would pick up the kids at the
Chicago Scout Camp.
yeah scout camps, and then on
So you're like,
Fruitvale Road, there's a big girls' camp. We would go pick them up.
so it's kind of part of a Wasapee and everything. You would
Yeah.
work with them.
Yeah, I guess, did we have Wasapee? I think we did have 4 or 5 horses out there.
How many horses did you have altogether?
A lot of times in the fall we'd end up with 35.
Oh, okay.
We didn't winter that many, though.
We didn't winter that many. But we had 200 acres of land here, and we raised all our hay and grain.
We had asparagus. We had 100 acres of asparagus.
Huh?
How much asparagus did we have?
80.
80 acres?
No, 50, wasn't it?
I don't know. I thought it was 100. That's how we're not, don't pin us down on anything here, because I don't want people coming over and telling us you're a liar. We're having a hard time. Anyway, so we had those kind of crops that we had asparagus pickers and all this and that, and we
We
had
raised a lot of peas
for Gerbers.
for Gerbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we had, asparagus was the crop that was the biggest maybe it might have been the best crop, but it was the biggest pain in the neck because you had all these employees. I had one field and I had girls because we had 2 girls, so we had girls on sleds, and then the next field over we had boys picking by hand, and then later on if we had it across the road, then we had women. But when we had women, it was kind of interesting. One gal came, her hair up like this. She must have had it done every morning before she came to pick asparagus. And sitting there, now they're sitting behind a tractor picking. And this one lady said to Benny, do I make any more an hour if I have a master's? I never did remember who that was, but we got the biggest kick out of that. I have big wallpaper scrapbooks of every auction. I got 6 of them there, like this. Every auction that he had.
Oh, okay.
And so every once in a while we look through them. They should go to where people are raising heck that we don't give them to the museum, but we're not ready to get rid of them yet. But a lot of the North Muskegon and Whitehall, Shelby, they just went all out, for auctions. I mean, it brought money in, people would go in and eat and everything. And if it was raining, every raincoat in the vicinity would get sold out. He had the riding stable in Whitehall, which was, he always says, I think he exaggerates, but anyway, there was dances, and this would be some dances, 2 nights weekly at Murray's Inn, 2 nights weekly at Jack and Jill Ranch, and that was true of Sunday and Thursday, because I was there later. And then Saturdays at Schiller's Bar.
Okay.
So they could go to dances 5 nights a week.
Now, you go to dances, or were you part of the band, or no?
Oh,
No,
I
just went.
Okay.
I love to dance.
Yeah. And
I call square dances now.
Right.
but he had, that was the old-fashioned square dance. And we did Western square dance for 10, 15 years. But anyway, that was a boy-girl deal.
How can you still call the square dancing?
Oh, yeah. I did too. I called some here just...
This morning, yeah. But nobody was here. Oh, it's been almost 20 years, hasn't it, since you auctioned, Benny?
Oh, yeah.
I'd have to look in the book to see what the... Oh, we had all kinds of auctions. You were asking that. When you leave, I'll think of the funniest things.
Yeah, that's the way it usually works.
His bearskin coats hanging on lines, you know, and we had books till they come out your ears, and plus, it was all household.
We had checks from 9 different states from that sale.
Yeah.
Ruggles.
Charlie Ruggles, yes. Charlie
Ruggles.
Ruggles. Yeah, I have a lot of pictures on that. Yeah. But we had some big ones. We'd have like a whole antique shop out of Pentwater. We sold that one time, and I can't think of funny things that we've sold. Panko, he had all stuffed animals. We sold those.
Did a lot of them do that when they were going out of business too? They'd bring the stuff over to sell it out, or was it just...
Well, when we'd have estate auctions at our farm, well, sometimes they'd be all one person. So, and then a couple of times we had shops, like the one the shop on Grand Haven Road before you get to Holland. But anyway, where there always was a nice antique shop. Well, she brought everything up here, so that was a whole auction. But a lot of times we'd have 9, 10 different people's things. So we had to be so careful, you know. We had an auction one time. This was directly across the road. That's so many years ago. And we had really good. We had clocks, lanterns and stuff. There's great collectors. We had them from Indianapolis and everything coming. Anyway, we set it up the night before. They were usually on a Saturday, outdoor all-day auctions. We had all set up Friday night, but because they were such good, I mean, really good dolls and stuff, we had them in boxes under the tables and covered so that the moisture wouldn't get on them and they wouldn't get hurt and everything. So that was fine. We had the auction that day. And Saturday night, of course, the auction was over. We had rains. And our whole front yard was full. In fact, our son took a sailboat out and put it in the front yard and took a picture of it. But all that stuff would have been wrecked.
Oh,
and
yeah.
of course, we never had contracts or anything. So I said to Benny, that could have been the worst day of our lives.